Belarus strategic rail network is allegedly serving as a discreet lifeline for Vladimir Putin's tank armies, with regular convoys of heavy equipment and vehicles quietly keeping Russian frontline units resupplied far from public view. What Alexander Lukashenko once portrayed as mere storage reserves have effectively become a steady pipeline of Belarusian armor, ammunition, and support gear flowing into Russia's war machine, reinforcing Moscow's long-term combat capacity. A detailed report by the opposition-aligned Belarusian railway workers community documented how a full military train loaded with equipment departed Belarusian territory for Russia, highlighting concrete evidence of this clandestine cooperation. The study tracked rail movements between April 1 and September 30, 2025, and described them as systematic, noting that repeated shipments over months revealed an organized supply pattern rather than isolated one-off transfers. These flows included equipment taken from Belarusian storage depots as well as individual weapons and vehicles sent to Russia for repair, showing both direct provisioning of gear and deep integration of maintenance chains. One notable episode in the report describes a military train dispatched from Borisov station on the Belarusian railway network, standing out as a clear, well-documented case of cross-border hardware movement. Investigators identified the sender as the 814th Technical Support Center under Belarus Defense Ministry, tying the shipment not to private actors but directly to official military structures in Minsk. That train consisted of 32 cars in total, with 31 flatbed railcars loaded with military equipment and one additional service wagon, all explicitly bound for a designated Russian military destination. The final destination listed was the 1,311th Central Tank Reserve Base of the Russian Armed Forces, a facility used to store and regenerate armored vehicles for future combat deployment. Analysts concluded that the specific route and the tank reserve endpoint clearly demonstrated active transfer links, with Belarusian stocks being routed straight into Russia's armored reserves rather than remaining on Belarusian soil. Another major shipment identified in the same period involved assets from Belarusian air defense units, pointing to broader cooperation that extended beyond tanks and ground hardware alone. Equipment belonging to the 377th Anti-Aircraft Missile Regiment was loaded at Palatsk Station and set off deep into Russian territory, marking a significant cross-border movement of specialized air defense gear. This train's destination was Onokoy Station on the East Siberian Railway, thousands of kilometers inside Russia, underscoring how Belarusian systems are being absorbed into Russia's wider strategic infrastructure. According to the analysis, the echelon consisted of 31 platforms loaded with military equipment plus one additional car carrying components and spare parts, mirroring the structure of the earlier tank convoy. The cargo was likely made up of elements of anti-aircraft missile systems and associated hardware, indicating that critical pieces of Belarus air defense architecture were being cycled through Russian facilities. The report described the shipment's purpose as overhaul and maintenance at Russian repair plants, suggesting a long-term service arrangement that binds Belarus military readiness to Russian industrial capacity.